Mother, padala mo nga yung yung pink na yung TikTok ko. Baka naman maswerte mo ka. Kamusta naman kayo dyan, mga kameta? Andyan na pala kayo. Let me medyo mag-bentul for Good evening. Good evening. Kamusta naman kayo dyan? Welcome back dito sa show natin. Pasensya na, medyo late tayo nagsimula. Alam niyo na, marami tayong mga day job at today, humahabol ako after all this crazy schedule. Kahapon pa lang, na back-to-back natin si General Torre and then Justice Scarpio, and in the middle, ang dami natin ibang ginagawa at election time na. I'm trying to coordinate interviews right and left with different candidates and all na progressive, na change makers, and then a little bit of some here and there. Alam mo naman, ayaw naman natin ng Tony Talks unless yung Tony Talks ay katulad nung, in fairness na matinong Tony Talk kay Kiko Pangilinan. Ang chismis nga sa akin, parang taus-pusong interview daw yung ginawa ni Tony kasi alam mo na wala namang budget ang mga 'di ba mga progressive candidates, 'di ba? Wala akong sinasabi sinasabi ko lang yun yung mga narinig natin sa mga kaibigan natin and networks natin. Anyways guys, so kaya today humabol na ako dun sa mga writings natin. After all, my primary job is as a political scientist, academic, and also writer. Yun po yung talagang day job talaga natin. At as you may know, it's not easy, to write articles and pieces and all. And I just had to take a bit of break dun sa last part ng itong long essay na ginagawa natin for Journal of Democracy, which of course is considered as the most influential publication on matters of democracy and populism. So I was working on that. In addition, a couple of stuff including about ito na naman yung mga pinagagawa ni Trump at ano yung mga kailangang gawin ng aliado. May concept ako na strategic collective bargaining kung saan sa akin palagay yung mga aliado ng mga Amerika, whether mga Europeo, mga Filipino, mga Asyano, dapat magsama-sama tayo at kung sa tingin natin may maling ginagawang US or binubuli tayo, we have to work it out together. So from Friedrich Merz, the new or incoming Chancellor of Germany, to Emmanuel Macron, who, by the way, could be in the Philippines soon and is visiting Singapore for the Shangri-La Dialogue later this year, to the Philippines hosting up to 14 countries in April, mga like-minded countries, middle-sized countries, and of course, abangan nyo rin yan yung interview natin with the French ambassador where we discuss all of these issues, whether we middle powers, like-minded democracy should work together more rather than just hintay lang natin ano yung gusto ni Trump or ayaw ni Trump or ayaw ni Elon Musk or something like that, no? Hindi dapat nakasalalay yung ating kinabukasan bilang mga bansa, bilang mga sovereign states dun sa mga whims ng isang tao dyan sa the White House. Whether you're pro-MAGA, anti-MAGA, whatever, you're not, the fact of the matter is that you're not a true patriot if you don't believe in strategic autonomy or a certain degree of strategic autonomy for the Philippines, and the same applies to other U.S. allies. So, anyways, I've been working on analysis of those works. I have also an incoming new article naman about the issue of semiconductors, Philippines working in Taiwan with U.S. Finally, lumabas na rin itong journal article natin with American Affairs Journal. It's an interesting journal, medyo wonky, medyo analytic. There's a lot of discussions about industrial policy. It's a little bit conservative in fairness, so mukhang influential ito sa mga Republican circles. So baka naman basahin din tayo ng mga maybe not Trump but some of the top officials within the administration. Who knows, maybe Marco Rubio among others may read it. We already had Elbridge Colby among some other top officials also on this podcast, in addition to my own TV show, The View from Manila. So abangan niyo yung mga latest episode ng View from Manila. By the way, also thank you sa lahat ng mga comments. For some reason, the views are not as high as expected, but the comments are a lot. There are a lot of comments and very positive comments. Dito sa ating new Pilipinas 360 series, medyo mga Lex Friedman of the left, mga Jordan Peterson of mga left ang dating. Medyo dark mode, Lex Friedman mode. So I hope you appreciate that kasi talagang medyo production yan. At as I said, production kinds of content ay hindi madali at obviously it takes a lot of resources, etc. So I'm trying to put a lot of these things together exactly as what I promised you guys more than 2 years ago, right? Kasi more than 2 years ago may mga kasama tayo dyan na ang dami kasi nanglalait sa atin sinabi, bakit yung earphones mo ganito, ganyan, bakit napaka Ilocano cheap production, and then of course Maraming salamat dun sa mga ibang followers natin. Marami sa inyo yung sumuporta sa atin in all different ways. Kaya unti-unti we were able to build up our own production capabilities and production resources. So God willing, we're moving in that direction. Ako naman, ayoko naman yung abusive, exploitative, so I try to also give good compensation or just compensation. After all, I'm a progressive. I identify myself as at least a social democrat. So mahalaga sa akin na when I have projects with different people, I compensate them properly for the time and effort they put. At medyo exacting tayo, whether ito yung mga thumbnails, whether ito yung production edits, multiple camera angles, lahat yan, I give instructions. Alam ko minsan nahihirapan, nasa-stress sa atin yung mga tumutulong sa atin sa mga medyo pataas-taas na production. But that's because I started myself doing everything and then slowly I'm bringing it up. But at the same time, I believe you have to properly compensate people. So all of your support, guys, has been going into leveling up itong essentially meta movement natin. Ito po ay isang kilusan, no? Ito po ay isang kilusan, hindi ito yung this is not just another vlog when I'm just gonna rant or another vlog kung sana. May mga nakita ko ng mga nakakairita na vlog yung parang every 2 seconds na may sasalita. Pag bigla may tawa-tawa yung mga ganyan. I mean, there's so much nonsense and trash out there. Yung iba naman obviously bayaran. Yung iba naman obviously they're just partisan and just one side of the equation. Hindi legit discussion. And of course, your support has been very important because there were times na parang may nanonood pa ba, may pakibang tao sa mga ginagawa natin, tinitroll pa tayo, binabastos pa tayo. But because of your support, guys, lumakas yung loob natin, no? Lumakas ang loob natin and we were able to overcome a lot of setbacks. We were able to overcome a lot of adversities and overcome also, of course, a lot of dispiriting moments na parang ano ba ang ginagawa natin? Sinasayang ko ba yung oras ko? Sinasayang ko ba yung energy ko? May mga nanglalait pa. Ito pa si Higdaran, parati mukhang kagising lang or pagod na pagod. Ganyan. Parang, sorry hindi ito day job ko Meron tayong mga day jobs tayo. Magpasalamat na nga kayo. No? Just kidding. Hindi naman ako mag-reveal Willie Ray. Bakit? Ikaw? Anong gusto mong batas? Hindi naman So ito yung article, guys, on Journal of American Affairs. It's live. You can check it out. I can post the link later on. So this is the spring 2025 number 1 volume. How do you count this? Is this 11? Sorry, may biglang nakalimutan yung Roman. Anyway, you can check this out. So I look at different dynamics, domestic politics, global politics, but more importantly, I also talk about industrial policies, semiconductors, development strategy, inclusive development, some of the economic issues that I've raised in some of our podcasts, including with Dr. Walden Belly, among others. So things that you're not gonna hear from your local economists and some of the people here. Yung mga economists dito, usually puro mga usual stuff, macroeconomic stability, corruption, good governance, mga ganun. But if you really want high-grade analysis, economic analysis with clear implications, and also talagang nakatutok dun sa mga latest debates na nangyari. I met the Chancellor of Germany last year. We met top experts in Washington, D.C., in Tokyo. So I talked to a lot of people. We were at the Ministry of International Trade and Industry meeting of Japan last year. So marami tayong nakausap ng mga top experts on industrial policy, trade policy around the world. I was in a conference the other year kung saan andun din yung kasalukuyan na trade representative ni Donald Trump. So we have had the privilege of meeting the best minds in the world when it comes to issues of industrial policy and trade. So accordingly, na-appreciate natin when the Journal of American Affairs reach out to us. Even though alam nila medyo critical tayo kay Trump at sa mga Republican Party. But they know, on China, I'm a patriot. On China, I'm clear-eyed. And also on matters of industrial policy and all, I'm very, very much interested in this issue. So, anyways, feel free to check these things out. So, kung nakikita niyo minsan pagod ako or I come in late, etc., is because I have to take care of these day jobs. I don't know about your other favorite vloggers, but being a writer, being a thinker, it's not an easy job, right? It's not an easy job. Hindi naman madali yung ginagawa natin dito, pero sobrang hirap talaga if tuloy-tuloy yung sulat and all of that. And you know me, that's really my first love because that's where I can really pin down yung ideas, distill yung mga concepts, and make sure na evidence-based lahat ng sinasabi natin and also solidify our research and all. Because anyone can just go online and post things and claim things, but to publish stuff regularly in the most prestigious journals and other things, hindi yan madali. And I always welcome that challenge because it makes me a better person, a better scholar, a better thinker, and also a better vlogger. Speaking of vlogger, kanina may pinost tayo kanina. Hindi ko sinasabi yan dahil malapit na yung birthday natin. Ay, nasasabi na natin. No, honestly, nagtanong ako. Because, yung kasi yung parents ko na parati ng alam mo yung mga yung mga immersive videos sa YouTube, yung naglalakad-lakad lang sila sa mga iba't ibang bansa. Tapos na-curious ako, ano bang gamit nila? Ang tagal nila naglalakad. Yung palang gamit nila yung maliit lang yung Insta 360, yung parang GoPro pala. And then I was researching about this the other night and all. Ang pinakamaganda yata yung Insta 360 X4. But medyo mahal siya and I tried to check it on Amazon. And then sa Shopee, na-reject po yung ano natin. And hindi yata mukhang parang nung tinignan yata yung account ko, hindi makaka-afford to. Kaya rejection lang reject kahapon kasi naghanap ko ng sale online. So anyway, sabi ko nga before tayo invest sa mga ganito para naman hindi mga gimmicky. Kaya nagtanong tayo kanina kung mayroon sa inyo may experience or may kilala kayo whether totoo ba na itong Insta360 X4 yung latest edition is the best one, because to be honest I'm really excited also to do the more immersive ones. I tried to do that with my Samsung and all, nahirapan ako at hindi ko makuha yung 4K. Ito kasi may 8K pa nga siya eh. I tried to do some immersive in Barcelona, in Amsterdam, hindi ko pa nga na-post kasi hindi ko makuha. At saka ang sakit sa kamay, to be honest, ang sakit sa kamay pag cellphone and all. And nakakatakot kasi malaking cellphone and all. So anyway, I had to check it. So anyway, what I'm saying here is that as we speak, even as we speak about high-grade publications, as we speak about high-quality podcasts and all, iniisip ko rin, kailangan ko rin siguro to go more on the ground sa mga probinsya. We're hoping to go to Davao, to Baguio, to Cebu in the coming weeks and so. In addition, of course, dun sa mga international trips and events natin na kailangan natin na yun yung mga legit scholarly professor darn type events. But I want to do more on the ground stuff, no? And kalye survey na hindi kalye survey, more like I don't know how I should put it. Yung parang documentary style, yung kausapin yung mga tao, anong mga hiningi nila sa buhay, anong gusto nila mangyari. Medyo listening tour style. So yun yung gusto ko. So it looks like the best option for me is not to bring a giant phone or a giant expensive looking camera. It looks like an Insta360 is the best, and the one that I saw makes most sense is X4, right? Grabe naman yung Shopee. Ay nila approve yung hinanap ko kasing may sale eh. Anyway, so going back to this, guys. Ayun na, marami na magalit kay Richard. 12 minutes ka na nag-introduction pa lang. Now, let's go to the Chiz of our discussion. Ito na guys. Chiz Escudero. Mukhang tapos na yung Paris Fashion Week. Tapos na ang ating microblading. Mukhang medyo may oras-oras na, or baka na-feel niya na yung pressure. So Chiz Escudero made some interventions kanina lang today about, ito na, finally, at the very least, mukhang the ball will get rolling. But is it fast enough? Is it moving in the right direction? Mga yan, pag-usapan natin in the next few minutes or so.
Activity. And number 2, a proposed calendar of activities in connection with the impeachment. Proposed, ibig sabihin nun, isa ito sa mga tatalakayin at pagpapasahan ng Senado kapag kami nag-resume. Hindi ito nakaukit sa bato.
Hindi po ako
Hindi ito yung mangyayari na talaga. Pero sinasabi ko na rin sa inyo, di ba? In 10 days, pag...
Sorry Naalala ko si Leloy. Ang galing gumaya si Prof. Leloy Claudio sa kanya.
Intindi po natin ang ating batas.
Talagang ganyan magsalita, no? Tapos parating na ito para Michael Jackson na pati si Chinkitan nakasulat. Actually may ganun din ako, pero dahil sinusuot ng mga ibang tao, hindi ko na sinusuot at may nagsabi, maging mukhang Mike Velarde kapag, grabe naman kaya. I was thinking more like, thinking more along, yun yung mga smooth criminal, pero yun pala, smooth eyebrows pala. Anyway, balikan natin, ito so basically, so far, ang kinonsid ni Chiz Escudero, who by the way also sent a letter to Malacanang and other branches of the state to also clarify his position, is that they will try to lay down the logistics, right, of the impeachment.
And number 2, a proposed calendar of activities in connection with the impeachment. Proposed, ibig sabihin nun, isa ito sa mga tatalakayin at pagpapasahan ng Senado kapag kami nag-resume.
Sorry, guys. Parang si Leloy kasing narinig ko.
Isa po ito sa ating tatalakayin
Sorry na, sir. Sorry na. Okay, behave na tayo. Okay, serious mode. Serious mode tayo. Good morning. Okay, serious mode na tayo.
Hindi ito nakaukit sa bato, hindi ito yung mangyayari na talaga, pero sinasabi ko na rin sa inyo, di ba, in 10 days, pag summons, para magkaroon sila ng ideya na, at nang habang recess ay matimbang na nila kung ano talaga yung gusto nila, at anong magiging pasya ng mas nakararami kaugnay niyan. Pangatlo, minabuti namin na bigyan ng kopya
Minabuti.
itong mga bagay na ito.
Parang may pagka-bend. Minabuti po namin na bigyan ng support ang... parang... bakit parang may pagka-bend tulpang dating? Anyway.
Sulat sa mga senador, yung calendar of activities.
Yun, no?
At gayon din yung special order na inisyo ko na inaasahan ang iba't ibang opisina dito sa Senado ng mga magiging papel nila kaugnay ng impeachment kapag nangyari na nga yan. Lahat yan, pinagbigay alam din namin sa Kamara, sa pamamagitan ni Speaker Martin Romualdez at sa nasasakdal kay Vice President Sara Duterte para sa kanilang impormasyon, reference at kaalaman sa interes ng
Laki na kasalanan ni Leloy sa akin. Parang feeling ko pag na-meet ko in person tapos magsalita kayo si Chiz, hindi ko makayanan. Informasyon, talakayan, para sa bayan. Anyway, meron talaga siyang ganun, no? Parang may algorithm talaga siya the way he talks, O aminin nyo, pag ako, wala akong algorithm. I mean, I speak differently. If I'm giving a talk in Harvard Law School, I speak differently. If I'm giving a talk in the European, Parliament, iba ako magsalita if I'm in an Asian context kasi alam ko I cannot speak as fast as I would want to. And iba tayo pag magsalita po tayo dito sa ating vlogs. Okay, alright. Pero ito si Kuya parang parehas talaga, hindi na... Kasi, tumatakbong Senado yun nung nagka-college pa lang ako eh. Yung talagang cheese for life. Cheese is life. Cheese for life, Kila is life.
transparent. Dahil lahat ng nakasaad doon, pinag-usapan na natin at hindi naman
Pinag-usapan
bago
na
at
natin.
hindi sikreto. Kaya lang,
Hindi sikreto.
minabuti na namin isulat yon at gawing formal,
Formal.
para kung may gustong mag-question, may
Para
gustong
gusto mag-question,
mag-akyat sa
yeah.
korte, ika nga, di pwede nilang gawin yan ngayon pa lamang.
Is he really talking like that? Eh, may gawin natin ma-request siya. I thought Lelo was exaggerating mo. He really talks like that, no? Para gawin pa natin question. Mas gusto ko yung parang may pagka-bento for siya.
Sa kanilang impormasyon, reference at kaalaman sa interes ng pagiging transparent. Dahil lahat ng nakasaad doon, pinag-usapan na natin at hindi naman bago at hindi sikreto.
Oo
Kaya lang,
naman.
minabuti na namin isulat yon at gawing formal,
Formal.
para kung may gustong mag-question, may gustong mag-akyat sa korte, ika nga,
Ika nga.
pwede nilang gawin yan ngayon pa lamang para pag nagsimula, ay tuloy-tuloy na talaga.
Sorry, for soundbite lang, pwede pong
Wala pang soundbite sa lagay na yan. Pasok itong media na to.
Hindi ko na maalala eh.
Para sa ating impormasyon at ating mga reference point.
Kasi sila lang naman yung gumawa nung kinompilan nila yung dati.
Ay, sus.
Uy, paikot. Ba't parang nagpapakit siya, no?
Okay. Sir, kung later yung sulat siguro, yung special order, yung
Pinapabigay ko na sa inyo dapat na mas
Hindi na bibigay ko na sa inyo.
Oo nga, tama talaga si Lelo. Yung ganun talaga, no?
Para
Oh my
makapaghanda sila at gumawa na rin ng proposed budget kaugnay nun dahil baka may mga unforeseen expenses na kailangan namin paghandaan.
Aba?
Ulitin ko, bahagi ito
Ulitin natin.
tawag nating code-taking ng rules on impeachment ng Senate. Upang sa gayon ay hindi pa man nagsisimula ang pre-trial o trial, ay buo na at kompleto na ang paghahanda ng Senado para dito.
Para dito.
Then, sir, pwede ano yung nakakalendaryo? Ano yung sa calendar?
Hindi yata ako mapasok sa
Pero,
Senate
parang
na to. ha?
Okay. Ito rin yung sinasabi ko sa inyo noon pa, but ulitin ko, proposed calendar of activities ito,
Ito.
at hindi ito nakaukit sa bato. So, June 2, resumption
Parang,
of session.
wait lang, ha?
Sa inyo noon pa, but
Parang nagra-rhyme siya, no? Ang galing niya. Parang nagsasalita si parang nagra-rhyme. Okay, sa bato, ganun na tato. Tingnan mo ba? Tingnan niyo. Parang nagra-rhyme siya. Parang ano.
ulitin ko, proposed calendar of activities ito, at hindi ito nakaukit sa bato. So,
Yun, kalendaryo nito,
June 2,
ukit sa
resumption
bato.
of session,
Galing
presentation
talaga.
ng articles of impeachment by the prosecutors. Isang bagay ito na nakasaad sa aming rules at sa rules ng Estados Unidos kung saan kinopya ang rules on impeachment. In other words, babasahin man lamang yung mga allegations sa plenaryo para formally ay maging parte ng
Taray,
records
no?
ng
US
Senado
style.
ito. Approval ng rules dapat magawa na rin namin ng June 2. Again, more or less, depende kung gaano kahaba ang debate. June 3, pwede mag-oath taking na ang mga senador bilang judges. Mauuna mag-oath taking ang presiding officer at yung presiding officer magpapa-oath sa mga senator judges.
Si
Pwede
Robin
na rin
Hood.
pagkasunduan doon ang pag-issue ng summons na pwedeng ma-issue by June 4. From June 14 to 24, palitan ng pleadings yan sa magkabilang panig. At roughly from June 24
Galing,
to
ha?
July 25, yung pre-trial.
Galing,
Dahil
galing.
sang-ayon sa rules of court, kung maalala nyo, sa mahaba natin at
Mahaba
ilang ulit
natin.
ng usapan at kwentuhan tungkol dito, nakalagay sa rules of court, kabilang
See?
pagkasunduan doon ang pag-issue
Is he really talking like that? Tingnan naman.
ng summons na pwedeng ma-issue by June 4. From June 14 to 24, palitan ng pleadings yan sa magkabilang panig. At roughly from June 24 to July 25, yung pre-trial. Dahil sang-ayon sa rules of court, kung maalala nyo, sa mahaba natin at ilang ulit ng usapan at kwentuhan tungkol dito,
Opo.
nakalagay sa rules of court, dapat iset ang pre-trial not more than 1 month
Yun.
from the time the last pleading is filed by either party.
Man,
So,
man.
tamang-tama lang. By July 28, magre-resume na ang Kongreso. Siyempre, wala tayong magagawa sa unang araw. July 29,
Parang nagko-commentary siya, no?
Na susumpa ang 12 bagong senador na magiging bahagi ng 20th Congress. Maliban dun sa unang 12 kami na sumumpa na. Hindi naman na kailangan sumumpa pang uli. At inaasahan namin na sa susunod na araw, July 30, kung yan ang mapagkakasunduan ng
July
mayoría,
30, oh
ay
my.
magsisimula na ang paglilitis sa presentation of evidence.
Tagal pa. Tagal.
Silly question, pero yung mga senador na hindi natatawid sa next Congress, kasama pa rin sila mag-oath si June.
Na hindi
I mean,
mag-oath kailan?
sa June, sir, before you adjourn, as
Dalawang
senator
oath.
judge.
Sila'y bahagi pa rin ng 19th Congress. Lahat ng senador ng 19th Congress ay mag-oath. Dahil ang termino nila ay matatapos sa June 30 pa lamang. Ano man ang mangyari dun sa 7 re-electionista kaugnay ng darating na eleksyon. Hindi kayang baguhin nun na ang termino nila ay hanggang June 30, 2025.
Yung likely na
Wow.
trial, kailan sir mangyayari yung pag-open ng impeachment court? I mean, yung magko-convene kayo as impeachment court.
Wow.
After the oath,
Grabe yung
after the
timeline
oath,
na
sir,
to. Ang tagal,
magko-convene
ah.
na kayo sa impeachment court.
Teka, dalawa nga yun eh. June 30, ano? Anong June 30? July 30 yung trial. Malamang magsisimula.
Sumpa kayo, impeachment court na kayo. Convene na kayo sa impeachment court.
Para kayong wala dito ng impeachment, ha?
Guys.
Dalawang sombrero ang suot ng Senado. Senado acting as a legislative body, Senado sitting as an impeachment court. Each time we adjourn, then we finish wearing that hat. Each time we resume, we will announce if we are resuming as what. So example, kung ang oras ng trial ay alas 9 ng umaga, magre-resume kami bilang impeachment court. Pag kami magsesesyon naman ng alas 3 at mag-a-adjourn yung impeachment court ng alas 2, edi mag-a-adjourn kami sa impeachment court ng alas 2 at pagdating ng alas 3, magre-resume kami as a Senate deliberating on proposed legislation. Ano yung tanong nyo? Hindi ko maintindihan.
Kaya kayo magko-convene.
Magko-convene kami twice under the 19th Congress, as I said, and under the 20th Congress. Tutuloy nga to, di ba? Yun yung matagal na natin pinag-uusapan. Mag-o-oath yung mga members ng 19th Congress para magampanan nila yung trabaho. Kaugnay ng pag-issue
Willie
ng summons
Revilla
sa
man.
ayon sa aming
Kamusta mo
rules.
kay Jan, sir?
At magpapatuloy yung pre-trial dahil kung yun ang nakasaad nga sa rules namin, yun yung pinapanukala namin na aprubahan ng mayoriya, Tapos sa July 29, mag-o-oath yung 12 bagong senador. July 30, mako-convene yung impeachment court.
Mag-oath kayo during the plenary session ng Senate as legislative body. And then, immediately after,
Depende sa mayoriya. That can happen the following day. Most likely the following day. Anong oras na ba yun? Depende.
So magkukonvene na kayo.
I'll give you an
Grabe
example.
naman yung mga comments nyo. Huwag naman sa kilay.
Kung more
Walang below the
ng
hairline
impeachment
na
court,
attack.
Mag-o-oath kami
Below
plenary
hairline.
ng July 30. Eh clearly, hindi kami dedire-diretso pag-oath namin. Di ba? The following day na kami mag-open ng court if ever.
Parang
July
parang may
30.
Willy Rebellion mo din to Yung parang siya pa yung galit
Hindi ko maintindihan yung...
Wala naman below the hairline, guys. Wag naman yung kilay.
Pag-continue po as
Hindi nga eh. Hindi.
Hindi
Naku, gusto ko ang bigay sa inyo na lang yung papel eh.
Oy,
Proposed yun
oy.
ha. This is proposed.
Is it? Did he
after the ban of taking
medyo cringe na ito.
technically pag-continue po as
Hindi nga eh. Hindi. Naku, gusto ko ang bigay sa inyo na lang yung papel eh. Nakalagay dyan. Proposed yun ha.
This is for real.
I told you to give it to them earlier.
Anong pabebe talaga ito, pabebe?
Again, pinag-uusapan
Alam ko marami nakaka-cringe sa atin, pero pati ako nakaka-cringe dito.
namin para mas maintindihan. Magko-convene ng Senate pag-resume namin, most likely nga July 3. Sabi ko, di ba? June 3. Wala namang session ng July 3 kayo, no? Anong naging?
Ay, sus.
The impeachment court is the one that should issue summons, not the plenary.
Guys, wala
Unless
naman
the
pakialam.
rules authorize the Senate President
Makinig
to
kasi
issue
kayo.
Kaya depende. Calendar of activities lang ito. Ba't kayo kasi masyado nakatitig at fixated sa impeachment court kung kailan sila magsusuot ng robe? Hindi naman mahalaga yun. Mas maraming mahalagang bagay na mangyayari at magaganap.
Ay, sus.
Bago nun at pagkatapos nun.
Bakit ganun yung fashion niya? Hindi ko talaga maintindihan.
Hindi pa kayo impeachment court nun, sir. Pag nag-oath taking kayo as...
Ginawang primary yata tong press conference na to. Uy, in fairness, I mean,
Walang kinalaman ng pagsumpa sa impeachment court. The impeachment court would have to convene on a date certain. It's not the oath taking that will determine when the impeachment court will be created. Yung impeachment court, pag nag-convene kami sa impeachment court, dun
yeah, but
sa
it's,
impeachment court
you
yun.
cannot start the trial until the
Regardless
next
of
Congress
when we
comes
took
in,
our
right?
votes. In fact, yung mga
Nakakataas
na magpapatuloy hanggang 2028, hindi na nga mag-o-oath. So, ibig sabihin ba, walang impeachment court? Hindi naman din. Wala siyang kinalaman doon. It has no relation to that. It depends on when and how the gavel is banged at kung anong sinabi na kino-convene.
Grabe na mga comments niyan.
Ba?
Baka mamaya may facial
That's
pa
what
yan
will
at
determine
derma.
when the impeachment
Madelay
court
naman
will
tayo.
reconvene. Yung pagpukpok ng gavel. Yes.
Pokpok ng gavel.
According to
Al-
the letter that was
Pokpok
shared
ng
by
gavel.
GC, ang schedule
Parang hindi niya bagay maging konyo, no? Hindi niya bagay. Anyway, I think we had enough. I think, hindi ko na, hindi ko na kaya, guys. Parang, alam ko maraming galit sa akin kasi sinasabi, Richard, pabebe masyado. Pero guys, this is next level, pabebe. Actually, I like watching this kasi parang, wait, just in case kung naging senador tayo or something, you don't want to do something like that. Sabi ko nga sa inyo eh. Anyways, guys, let's just go back to this kasi basically how it started is that nung February 24, nagpadala ng letter etong si Chiz, Kill His Life, Escudero, kung saan nagre-respond siya dun sa mga critics, no? Dito sa letter niya dated February 24 regarding itong questions on the impeachment case, sabi niya, as an impeachment court, the Senate will not be performing its usual legislative functions. It is my position, however, that an imprimatur from the body is required before the Senate can convene for the non-legislative purpose. In short, dapat may green light sa kanya para magsimula ito. Now, this is of course in response to Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Pimentel floating yung possibility na yung Senate convening as an impeachment court even during yung recess. Right? So, magkakaroon ng special session. Parang ayaw na ito. Ang gusto kasi ni Escudero is in-invoke na yung supposedly yung Senate rules, particular yung Section 42, kung saan it provides an exclusive enumeration of the grounds for the Senate President to reconvene the Senate without the need of call by the President. So essentially, he's looking at the particular section that gives him more prerogative and say. These are limited to the discussion of urgent legislative matters and other grounds likewise found in the Constitution. So obviously, yung implication dito is, hindi naman ito urgent legislative matter. For all other instances not enumerated, the power to call a special session at any time and for unspecified grounds belongs only to the President of the Philippines. So basically, pinupush na ito kay President Marcos Jr., yung is passing the buck, as the Americans put it. So ang sabi niya, hindi tayo magkakaroon pwede ng misapplication of Section 42 and the lack of an enabling resolution from plenary can lead to the unintended or even dangerous consequences. So in short, ang sinasabi niya, pag pinilit natin, pag binarabara natin, if we want to just railroad this, you might create more complications down the road and the more na magkakaroon ng delays among other things and baka ma-derail the whole process. Now, let's not forget, at the heart of yung discussion at debate ngayon is itong konsepto ng forthwith, right? Or forthwith, however you want to pronounce it. And many constitutionalists, we have Justice Carpio also on this show multiple times saying very clearly, and when you talk about that, you're talking about yung duty, yung obligasyon ng Senado to immediately act upon the impeachment within reasonable boundaries. So, so if you look at, for instance, yung provisions ng ating saligang batas, there's one provision that clearly says, in the case the verified complaint or resolution of impeachment is filed by at least 1/3, in this case more than 2/3 of all the members of the House, the same shall constitute the articles of impeachment, and trial by the Senate shall forthwith proceed. Pero si Escudero kasi ang ginagawa niya, yung tinitignan yung argument ni Ma'am Defensor before, although I have to go back to that. Remember back in the day when there was impeachment against Estrada and then na-impeach yan, he's trying to go back to the precedents to come up with some sort of interpretation that allows him to basically not go ahead with this kind of a special session and all. So, dito makita mo magaling din bilang abogado. He is actually malikot mag-isip. Magaling siya. I mean, medyo, hindi ko naman sinabi Harry Roque level, pero in fairness naman, he's good in terms of, hindi naman pusit games. But, so sabi kasi niya, referring to the Miram Defensor case, na while the Senate must proceed forthwith, it must do with circumspection. So ayon kay Escudero, the body took Senator Defensor Santiago's position and only issued the summons after the resolution on the rules of procedure on impeachment trials was adopted. Dito talaga makikita mo, magaling talaga magpalusot. Magaling talaga mag-explain ang mga kaibigan natin. So despite all of the issue, ang sinabi ni Escudero that he has already taken steps to, quote, take proper order on the subject of impeachment in accordance to existing precedents or impeachment rules na meron tayo. So just to remind everyone guys, no, ito kasi ang ni-review ng office ni Chiz Escudero, itong rules and governing or drafting the rules governing itong issues na yan. So one is authorize the Senate President to issue summons on the persons impeached and preside over the pre-trial and the receipt of judicial affidavits. Incorporate directly or by reference revised rules of courts provisions on judicial affidavits, pretrial conference, reception of evidence, electronic filing of pleadings, and other matters. And lastly, provide clear guidance on the procedure to be followed in case the trial is not concluded before the adjournment of Congress. So anyways, so dito makikita natin na on the defensive talaga si Escudero. Binabalik pa niya yung case ni Erap Estrada. He's trying to even go to, I'm sure si Ma'am Miram Defensor, if she were among us, might disagree with the interpretation of her own version of things. Let's see. But he's trying to invoke, precedents or his interpretation of precedents to actually essentially pass the buck, some would say, or at the very say na huwag natin pilitin ito. Now, obviously Escudero has been under a lot of pressure, no less than of course yung paborito yung senador na palaban na si Senator Riza Hontiveros, the real genuine minority, real genuine opposition there ang nag-accuse na talaga itong 19 Congress has been reneging on its responsibility if they allow na ito ay ma-postpone all the way to the next Congress. But in response, sabi ni Escudero, we're not delaying it. Excuse me, we're not delaying. Fake news. Dapat may ganun na siya eh. We're simply proceeding with it legally, constitutionally, in accordance with law. Parang boses ni Harry Roque ang narinig ko pag mga ganyan. For us not to follow the law will in fact create more delays or more opportunities for either party to go up, question the procedures we're undertaking, which will in turn result in more delays. So yun, anyway. Whew. I think Senator Trillanes put it best. No, at the end of the day, this is a political issue. The Senate President is there based on political calculus of certain members, and therefore we have to be in no state of shock na ang nakikita natin ngayon na ito yung mga ganyan na mga yung mga ganyan naman nangyayari. Okay, dinamay pa si Ma'am Defensor. Some would even argue na ibang yung kaso ni Erap, ibang kaso nito. But anyway, the fundamental political reality here is that I agree na ipit talagang kamay ni Chiz Escudero. Because remember, kailan lang siya naging Senate President, and remember the circumstances under which naging Senate President siya. Naging Senate President siya kasi natanggal si Zubiri, at natanggal si Zubiri dahil maraming senador ay hindi natutuwa sa ginagawa niya or sa direction ng ginagawa niya. And si Bato na sabi niya, I'll fight for you until the end of the world. Iyak-iyak pa siya, next thing bumoto siya sa kabila. At sabi ni Zubiri, I've seen strange things in the world, but nothing as strange. So anyway, sobrang gulong Senadong yun. There's no clear primus inter pares. Walang klarong leadership. So basically, parang compromise candidate lang si Escudero, to be honest about this. And parang siya yung parang least common denominator or least, divisive figure, kaya nilagay siya dyan. But that raises a number of questions. So one is, does he even have the real power to push for this? Yes, legally speaking, yes, but we know that it's not only about what is in the law, because always you can also change your interpretation of the law or debate over the interpretation of the law and ignore whatever all other constitutionalists and top experts and independent senators and all saying. But this is also about whether he has the numbers. So siguro ang nightmare scenario kay Chiz is basically two. One is, pipilitan niya to, matanggal pa siya as President of Senate. And worse, pipilitan niya to, ma-alienate niya a potential constituency that he may be interested in courting or is already courting for any plan in the future in 2028. The idea that Chiz might have ambitions to run for higher office in 2028 seems not very fantastical, just to put it nicely, no? And then, of course, honestly, I don't know how is this gonna go, because malaking posibilidad dito yung matanggal din talaga si Chiz Escudero pagdating sa 20th Congress, because especially kung panalo yung mga kalaban ng mga Duterte, kung bubugsarado mga Duterte, parang Bongo lang may chance. And the president is not happy, the Congress is angry, and more importantly, manalo yung mga katulad ni Tito Soto. O hindi ko sinabi Tito Boy Soto, Tito Soto. Alanganin talaga siya. Remember, Tito Soto, for everything you can say against him or whatever, the thing with Tito Soto is, habang nag-dribble si Chiz, Tito Soto might just come in and take the ball and say, okay, pwede ka na umupo. Bata, upo ka na. The adults are taking over. And remember, Tito Soto was a Senate President before. He's highly respected among many senators. Senator Trillanes called him an institutionalist, meaning someone is invested in protecting the institution. He showed the mettle of his leadership. In fairness to the guy, when Senate was effectively besieged by the Dutertes, when gusto nila yung pakulungin si di ba, si Trillanes, no, alam mo yung ginawa nilang na, I'm sorry, sobrang bobo yung ginawa. Sorry, yung idea na parang, sorry na wala namin yung yung pardon mo, yung so pakulong na natin yung Senado. Yung ganan kagarapalan na talaga abuso ng power nangyari kay Digong, paano ni Digong, at yung mga kung ewan-ewan na mga kaengotan ng sinasabi ng mga kanyang empresarios. It was actually in fairness to Tio Soto who held the line and make sure na hindi tayo magpapabastos ng Senado. So that's why marami sa mga tao na, mga senators na respeto natin, actually mataas ang respeto kay. So if Tito Soto wins, which is not impossible, in fact, he's consistent among top 5, top 6, so quite safe, but of course this is Senate, we'll never know. Then if you're Chiz, maybe all you want is just to survive until June or July and just tick enough boxes to be somehow in the contention. Especially if the next Senate will not turn out as very pro-admin and anti-Duterte. Right? So, is this his graceful exit? You get what I'm saying? Right? So, nakakalungkot talaga to see what's happening right now. And, naintindihan natin politics is politics. But at the end of the day, if everything is just politics, when are we gonna have rule of law? And if we're not gonna have a rule of law, good luck na sa atin in terms of having democracy. On that note, thank you very much guys for joining us. Babalikan ko yung analysis ko. Actually, let me just tell you guys, salamat sa inyo also. Kanina I was just saying that day job natin is to write, academic writing works, etc. because it helps me to refine yung ideas, to distill them, look at different angles, research, etc. Kasi tatrabahoin mo yan ng 4 hours eh. And by the way, dun sa mga nag-request for me to do more Kuya Talks, meaning career advice, self-development advice, don't worry about it. We'll have some conversation also about writing. I'll tell you about one story. In one of my op-eds for the New York Times, I had like so many redoing of the drafts. At some point, napaiyak ako, diba? But it was worth it because at the end of the day, I ended up on the same page as Bernie Sanders, and the final product was really, really good. So we'll have some discussions about the difficulties of writing, especially writing at the highest levels, right? At the highest levels. Guys, it's not easy to get published in those global newspapers or gana. Sobrang hirap talaga, right? And I'm proud to say na probably tayong first Pinoy since Ninoy Aquino, for instance, who has written for Foreign Affairs magazine, right? Which is the most influential magazine on foreign affairs and binabasa ito ng mga US presidents and world leaders, etc. So again, hindi ito dahil nagyayabang tayo or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys, writing at the highest levels is really, really hard. And I'm not claiming to have achieved that, but what I'm saying is that we were able to score a lot of points of improvement throughout the years because we put in the work. But having said that, in fairness, when we do these vlogs also, I learn a lot. I really, really learn a lot from our discussions, among other things. So, because I bounce off ideas and then minsan nakakatuwa rin yung comments. So, in fact, kung napansin nyo, minsan ang dami natin mga patama, dami natin mga, alam mo yan, bigla may naisip na ako eh. Nothing below the hairline. Kasi yung kilay nasa below the hairline. Diba yung mga ganun, di ba? Yung mga asar na ganun. I get to also think about these things because of your comments, yung kulit nyo, and so I'm bouncing off on ideas. Kung crowdsourcing ito. So I'm really also thankful to you guys because these vlogs we do forces me also to research constantly, know things constantly. Kasi kung academic ka, you're just looking at the, reading all of those thick books and review literature, a little bit of newspaper here. Pero dahil sa vlogging, I have to read every single day, every single line of every major development, including itong mga nakakirita, mga legalese, ek na mga discussions na yan. Na alam mo naman, in the end of the day, palusot lang yan at saka mga pusit moves lang yan, di ba? So having said that, thank you so much guys again for your continued support for us. Maraming salamat. Thanks to your support, we are building up our production capabilities. We're building up different ways we can express yourself. We're building up our own confidence to even though Kuya Talks, self-development talks, medyo counter Andrew Tate, what is a true macho young man thought. And by the way, I was just told that there was a major PR company, actually hindi lang isa, I've already talked to 4 different PR companies. They did a score of my political influence in terms of shaping political discourse. Our score is close to 100, right? I mean, we're not there yet, but we're almost close to 100. So medyo ka-level po natin, hindi naman artista level, but pretty high. So that is because we're constantly active, we're constantly engaging, and we have all of these platforms and all. So I think my score was like 94, 95 out of 100, with 60 as passing. another survey agency told me that number one po tayo in terms of shaping political discourse online. Hindi lang sa YouTube or like online period in terms of political influencer, number one daw tayo. So again, hindi ko sinasabi yan dahil mayabang tayo or anything like that. I'm just saying that quantitatively speaking, guys, we are making an impact, right? We are making an impact. We are shaping the discourse. Kaya ngayon, kung sino-sino lumalapit sa akin, I think they run the numbers like this guy's this and that, and then they're coming to me. Now, of course, that means that doesn't mean na, I feel complacent and let's take things for granted. If there's anything you know about me is that I don't take things for granted. I keep on pushing. I try to publish a book or two every few years. I try to keep on being academically active and scholarly, but also we keep on trying to improve our production and next level. So hindi lang ito yung ginawa natin Pilipinas 360 or yung TV program natin One News whereby malamang mas magaling production kaysa ito na yan. But of course, I'm hoping also, hopefully, siguro na lang, give ko na lang sa sarili ko yan, yung mga, hindi naman kalye survey, but I'm thinking of doing the Insta360 X4. If you guys think that's a good one, for some of you have an idea, just forward to me suggestion. Maybe that's one thing I'll look at because I'm also hoping to do like on the ground, talking to people, etc. na hindi mabigat sa kamay, hindi masakit sa kamay at hindi kailangan mag-hire ako ng buong production team and all. I want to travel light, I want to travel easily, I want to go around, talk to people, not only in Metro Manila. So one thing we realized when they did an analytics of me, sobrang lakas, pero basically major cities, Metro Manila lang tayo. Halos wala tayong masyadong influence in the other secondary, tertiary cities. So I need to fix that. I have to work on that. So siguro kailangan natin ng more quote-unquote kalye surveys among other things and discussions and listening tours. Hindi ako politiko, hindi ako tumatakbo, at least not yet. So I think what I'm interested here is, at least in this election period, while I'm in the country, and in between my travels and speaking engagements abroad, we go around and we give a glimpse of the town and city. Kasi pagod ako watching these foreigners and Konyos and Afams. Konyos is me. Yung mga Afams and mga other people going to mga, sabi na ito yung Pilipinas. No. Philippines is very complicated. There's a BGC Philippines, there's a Tondo Philippines, there's a QC Philippines, and then there's outside Metro Manila Philippines. There's so many layers to us, all right? We're not just one. We're 50 shades of greatness and spiciness and all of that. So that's why I'm not just looking at studio level productions, TV productions. I'm also looking at like on the street level of production. All right. On that note, maraming salamat. Thank you very much. God bless, and talk to you soon.